well. So today's video is all about how narcissists, talking about that the narcissist does, what cognitive empathy actually is, how they use manipulation with cognitive empathy, your generosity, your weakness, and how they use it to destroy. So I'm going to wait for a little bit for some of you to kind of jump on here. I hope that you're all doing really well. Just a few announcements. I've got to say that I'm really sorry, but I know that I haven't been posting as many videos as I kind of should have been over July. It's been a really hectic month and I've been away. But guys, I'm just changing the branding. I'm changing, not branding, but a little bit of the, I don't know, aesthetic. That's what I'm going to say, the aesthetic of the channels. So, cognitive empathy. Does anyone know what cognitive empathy is? We all know what empathy is. We all know what that is, isn't it? We are all born with it. Us empaths, not everybody. We learn it. We learn empathy from our parents. It is, oh, hello, Marni. It is something that we learn from our caregivers. It's something that is shown to us. And the thing is, if it's not shown to us, then we kind of grow up without having a real understanding of what that is. Hello, Denise. Understand themselves, so they're void of that. So that's why they don't have empathy. That's why they don't understand it and are able to apply it in certain situations. So they tend to use cognitive empathy as a way to get what they want from people. They use your feelings against you. They use your thoughts to manipulate you. This is why they gaslight. And this kind of behavior is very intentional from narcissists. They tend to exploit the empathy that we have. We are kind, we are loving, we are very understanding individuals. But for narcissists, they use this to exploit others. Now, the cognitive empathy, as it's used against you, it is done intentionally to destroy you. Okay, this is how they get your power. This is how they get your energy. And this is all goal situations. So we all know that narcissistic individuals or toxic individuals, they're very manipulative and they are very controlling. And that's how they're able to do that, through cognitive empathy. And so many people have asked me, like, how do they know all this information about me? Well, you can tell when somebody is kind, when someone gives a lot of information about themselves, someone who is very compassionate, someone who is very patient. You know, you don't have a different agenda. So a narcissist will know that. They will see that, they will understand that. And so that's how they use that information against you. Like I said, they use your feelings and your thoughts to be able to manipulate you. And that's, I think, another thing with narcissists and cognitive empathy. They will be different people in different situations and with different people. Does that make sense? So they will pretend, dependent on the person or the situation that they are experiencing at that time. And they fit themselves into that mold because they want to affect the way that people see them or view them. And if a person gives them an inch, they will take a mile. They have an agenda. They know what they are doing. And so I see, like, in the comments that some of you have actually gone through this yourselves, and you see that a narcissist will play a victim of cognitive empathy because what they're doing is they're pretending to be somebody. This is what I meant by compartmentalization of people and situations. So covert narcissists will have a mask. They will pretend to be somebody. They will have they pretend to have this illusion about themselves. And that's why they're able to get away with these things. That's why they're able to get away with being able to behave as a victim. They're able to get that empathy, they're able to get that compassion and that kindness from that person. And you can never understand their true intentions unless you are actually in it, until it's too late, because you don't ever imagine that somebody would ever do that. You don't ever imagine that somebody would behave that way. And so by the time you actually realize that actually this person isn't who they say they are, or they're not doing what they kind of said that they would be, or you get to know someone in a certain way, and they want something from you. They want your energy, your attention, and your validation. And so they will work really hard on trying to get that. So you get to know this person in a certain way. So they pretend to be somebody that they are not. And you get to know this person in that way. And when they are not that person, it's really hard for you to kind of make sense of what's going on. Joan says discernment and strong boundaries are important. They are going forward, because you don't want to run into another narcissist. Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. They want a reaction. You're absolutely right. They do. And that's why they pretend to play these different roles. It's all part of a manipulation tool to get what they want. It's all an agenda. It's all an agenda. They do know what they're doing. Whether they know that they are narcissistic, whether they know that they have some kind of ailments, I don't know. I mean, to kind of understand that they have a personality disorder, so that's what kind of like they put it down to other things. But they know that something isn't right. I do believe that they know that something isn't right, but I don't think they're interested in trying to fix it or make it right. You know why? Because if somebody behaves in a certain way and it gets their needs met, why would you want to change it? Why would you want to do something different when you're getting your needs met? So that's ultimately what it is. And so many of us kind of like when we're in these situations, you know, you don't necessarily know that this person is using cognitive empathy against you. And it's like what Joan said earlier in the comments, it is about discernment. It is about trying to kind of really understand the substance of what this person is saying, what they are doing. Is it matching, you know, their behaviors and the things that they are saying? People can say a lot of things. It's always the behaviors that you've got to look out for. And that's one thing that I always tell my clients. It is always the behaviors that you've got to look out for. You've got to read between the lines. And also, as being really empathetic people, you're quite intuitive. You know, you have to know, like, that is the things that you should be really paying attention to happening. And people believe that they can do that. Some people believe that they should be doing that. And that's why they do that. That's why, because they believe that they can. And it's really hard. Like, I completely understand where some of you guys are with all of this. Like, it's really hard to try and say to somebody no, because you believe in that person. Why would you want to say no? Or why would you want to, you know, like go no contact with somebody who, you know, at one point you did love in your life, or you are in love with? And it goes against our values, it goes against what we stand for and who we are. So why would you want to say no? Or why would you want to go no contact with somebody? It's just goes against our own values and ethics. I know that I find that really difficult, but if somebody is being negative, derogatory, and awful towards you, then this is something that you really need to look at, especially those of you who are out of a narcissistic relationship. You know that this is what they do. You know that this is what happens. You have to pay attention to people like that. You have to really look at this for what it is. Listen to your gut, and not for what you want this to be. All right? With cognitive empathy, yes, someone can pretend to be somebody, all right? But that pretend that they are being, or that illusion that they're trying to portray to you, only lasts for so long. You are always going to see through it, because you will reach a threshold. It won't feel right, and you will be able to see, like, hold on a minute, this person says things but does something different. You're going to be like, why is that happening? And also your intuition will also go, hey, listen to me, listen to me. That's why I always say that it's really important to connect to yourself and to also listen to what you're feeling. It is always your senses that are always going to give you those signals. And those are the things that you really need to listen out for, or feel, not listen, feel. So cognitive empathy, as I was saying, they pretend to be this person, they pretend to be a certain way, and it only goes so far. You will figure it out, because words don't match the behaviors and the behaviors don't match the words, and that's the warning signs when that happens. I remember there was one of my clients, and she was saying that she had just got out of a narcissistic relationship, and she was saying, like, how do I know when I'm going to be ready to move on? And I said to her, well, you will know, because you will feel it in yourself. You'll be like, oh, I'm ready, I feel happy within myself, I'm sorry, Jill, that you're dealing with this right now. And I feel like, how will I know? Am I always going to be stuck in this? Am I always going to be someone who doesn't trust people? But the thing is, I said to her, look, people are always going to be a certain way, and you're not necessarily always going to know at the beginning. But there's certain things that you really need to look out for, especially if you're kind of in the dating field, or you're moving forward from this, narcissistic relationship, and you're ready to kind of date. You took the words right out of my mouth, Joan. Yes, learning to trust your own intuition. And I always say that you're never going to get it wrong. And I know that connection with others, the trauma, the emotional trauma that we go through, we learn not to trust others. So I had to move areas. Oh my God, situation for me. And I was just thinking, I don't know anybody here. I had my family and stuff, but, I realized that I had to connect with others. Otherwise, I'm not gonna be able to do anything. I'm gonna stay, in solitude. And I didn't want that to happen. So this is why I always say it's about trusting your gut. It's always about really listening to that. And as my time here, I did get to know some people. Yes, there was some toxic weirdos as well. I'm not talking about guys, I'm talking about girls as well, like as in friends. They were strange women. So it's about really trusting that guy. You've got to watch for the behavior. That's what I'm always saying, the behavior, how they communicate with you. What words are they choosing to relate to you with? This is a big indicator. And how do they present themselves? How do they, talk about themselves? Because it's not always obvious, all right? With cognitive empathy, if you're a toxic person, you could continuously be asking questions and really making the other person the spotlight. And so if you're that person that they're talking to, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, this is so wonderful, I've got the attention, blah, 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 that's also a red flag. When someone is being overly nice, why is someone being overly nice? Similar, like if you find out lies, obviously people do lie, not toxic people lie. This is another thing, like, why is someone having to lie about a situation, even small lies? Like, why do you have to lie about who you are, what you have done? That to me says that this person is not content in themselves, and they're not showing a true representation of who they are. Like I said, people can say a lot of things. People can make something sound amazing and make you really get sucked into that moment. But it's your intuition that is really going to help you here. It is your, it is about being aware, looking out for the warning signs. The warning signs aren't always going to be so obvious. So what do you do in a situation when the warning signs aren't obvious? Well, what you do is you trust your gut, you trust your intuition. Again, yes, absolutely, sugar-coated BS. Hello, Laurie. It is exactly that I'm talking about. Is those warning signs are not going to be obvious. You've got to trust your gut instinct, right? Your senses will never let you down. If somebody is lying, you're going to know. You're going to know if somebody is lying. One way that we were taught, for example, in our psychology classes or in our modules is look at somebody's eyes. You can always tell. There's something that that's not right, and you'll always be able to tell. We did like a whole module on why people lie and how you can tell when people lie. I think this was more of like the forensic module that we did. So this was always something that, you know, really stuck with me, is when people lie, you can tell. It's just that their behavior or what they're saying later on down the line doesn't match with what they have said earlier. And this is what you've got to look out for when you're meeting new people. Whether that's in a romantic setting or whether you're wanting to be friends with somebody, is just look out at the way that they communicate to you, because this is really important. Take a step back, do the observing. Don't be so quick to give so much information out on yourself. Not that you're asking the other person to, but just observe, because you'll get a sense of that person. You'll see how they behave, how they talk. You might even feel, you know, your energy. And so these are all important factors. And you know, if you have the unfortunate experience of being, you know, with a narcissist, they will be doing the same. They'll be watching you. They'll be studying your body language, your facial expressions, how you respond. They'll probably ask all of the questions and put you in the spotlight so that they can initiate all this information from you. And these are the things, I feel like these are the kind of red flags that you need to look out for at the beginning. Why is someone being too nice? Why is someone offering to perhaps pay for everything? Why is that? What are they going to want from you later on down the line? This again could be a control tactic. This could be manipulation. You've got to be smart, all right? You've got to be clever about this, because people aren't who they say they are. But then again, on the other hand, I don't want you then to retreat back into yourself and not connect with others. You need to go into safe situations. I know perhaps maybe at work it is a different matter, because you don't have control about who, you know, your colleagues are or who your company employs. So ultimately, my friends, you have to protect yourself, and this is all about boundaries as well. This is all about, you know, looking after your needs. And if it means you have to say no, then you have to say no, you know. And I know, again, like I was saying earlier, this might go against your ethics and your values, but at the end of the day, you're out there with other people, and people are not who they say they are. And like, especially like in a work setting, you don't have control over who your colleagues are. So it's very much important that you observe who they are, how they behave, how they act, how they behave in a work setting. What do they do? Do they talk behind other people's backs? Because they're going to be talking about yours if that is the case. You know, these are the things that you need to be looking out for, and then just minimize your contact with that person, particularly at work. When you're in a romantic setting and you're going out dating, you do have control over that. You do have control about how you want this relationship to, or this interaction, this situationship to go. You control it, all right? You be that one step ahead. And I'm not saying that you've got to be weary of everybody that you meet, but you have to be smart. And that is the key here. You have to be smart. When you're around people who are predatory, all right, they will use any tactic that they can. You know that they will look for information on you, such as your triggers, what makes you tick, how you like certain things, how you behave. And they will use that against you. You'll be hunting yourself more if you give in to the coercion of another. You're absolutely right, Joan. So when people are predatory, this is what they do. This is what they look out for. And you're not going to know that at the beginning of this interaction. You may not know it, you know, a little bit further on down the line. But it is you've got to use discernment. And you've got to be aware. You've got to be aware. People always seem nice at first. But then this is how you use your gut feeling. This is what I mean. It's never going to let you down. So it's important. It's important to be aware. Sometimes you might be caught off guard. And I know that I had been. I met this. She was really lovely. We used to train together. She worked at the gym, and she was really lovely. And it was quite a toxic environment. And sometimes gyms are. I like going to the gym because I do it because I really like. I do it for my own mental well-being. So yes, the bonus of like losing weight or toning, yes, that's a bonus. But really, I go because it really helps me, to release energy or pent up emotion. I've been working really hard during the day, so I need some sort of a release or beforehand. Anyway, so this was at the gym, and I didn't realize at the time, but she was very toxic, but she was really lovely with it. And this is what I mean. Sometimes people, when they enter into your life, you're not going to know, you're not going to see it. And I was thinking, this is what I kind of talk about all the time. This is something that a subject that I'm really interested in, and I didn't see it at first. So, it doesn't matter that, you don't know at first, but this is something that you need to be aware of. Don't let your guard down. Just because somebody is being nice to you, to someone because they're saying they're going to give you some free PT sessions, and let's meet up for a coffee, which happened in my case, be aware what is going on. But then I urge you not to retreat back into yourself. Again, this is trust your intuition. My intuition in this point, I was thinking there's something not okay. There's something not okay, but I'll go along with it. And sometimes we feel like, oh, do we trust it? Is that our intuition, or is this just us being paranoid? But ultimately, it's important to really take a step back and just really reevaluate that situation or that person. Joe says, as you strengthen your boundaries, you truly become stronger, more aware, and in tune with your environment. Protect your sacred energy, your peace of mind. Joan, that is absolutely beautiful advice, and that is exactly what I'm talking about here. This is exactly what this is. You have to protect yourself at all costs. Those types of people are everywhere. Corona says, once you break the trauma bond, it is the most freeing feeling. Thank you for the smallest things. It's true. It is so freeing. You do feel like you've just been released from prison. Not that I know what that feels like, because I've never been to prison, but I used to work in a prison. Anyway, yeah, you just feel free because you don't have this heavy energy. Oh my god, my narc has the most evil eyes. They do. They have these black, motionless eyes. You do feel free when you're not there because it's that heavy energy that you're experiencing at that time, and you don't necessarily know what it is, but it makes you very tired. So you've got, and also when you have been in a strong body, it's good to really like journal and really think about like what are the lessons that you have learned. What have you learned about yourself? Because this is something that you will have understanding of, and it's really good to do that because these are the things, these are your triggers, these are your things that you learn about yourself, and how can you make yourself stronger through this process. Because ultimately we're not here because we are victims or we were stupid or we didn't know. It's not about that. It's not about putting labels on it and negative ones and putting yourselves down. You mustn't do that. It's about learning that you are intelligent individuals, that you're clever, that you're intuitive, that you are able to see through this and get past this, awful situation. And, if you were all of those things that, you probably think that you are, then you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be educating yourself about this. So you've got to see that this is strength. This is your inner strength that you have initiated, that you have, that you've seen the truth. And that's what it's about. You've got to see this as a positive. And cognitive empathy is just another tool that a narcissist will use. Jill, you will be free of your trauma bond. It is hard to break, but you can break it. And you've got to see this, as that you're doing the best that you can, and you have got through this. You are not even survivors. This isn't, you're not that label. You're more than that, okay? And you can get through this. You know, this is what I'm writing, you know, in my book, that actually you can heal yourself. You don't need other people, therapists, counselors, all of those things. I know I'll be shocked for saying this, but you don't need all that. You can heal this yourself. You have got all the ability within you already. You've got all of the resources within you already to help you move past this. Things like getting yourself out into nature. And I know, like, people laugh at me for saying this, but it really is about that. You know, reclaiming your energy. Yes, Joe, reclaiming your energy, reclaiming who you are, finding out about your identity, reconnecting back to yourself, going out into nature. You're reconnecting to that natural energy that's out there. It gives you scope to think. It helps you to process. Write things down, like when you're there. Sometimes it might be that, you know, you can talk to your friends or your family about things that you're going through, things that you're thinking. You know, it also helps to calm your nervous system that has been overstimulated within this toxic situation and with this toxic person. You know, it's awful, yes, what you have been through, and absolutely, you know, it does, you know, put this kind of stamp on your life, but you don't have to see it like this, because it isn't something that defines you. And you know, I was reading this article actually on this blog, and they made a really good point. You know, your past is your past, and it's gone, and you can't live in your past. The only place that it lives is in your memories. And guess what, friends? You have control over which memory you want to relive. So, you know, for example, I'll never relive my 20s. As sad as that is, neither will you guys. You know, all I have is right now. I don't even have tomorrow, I have right now. So your past doesn't need to be part of your future or part of your now. You have the control as to whether you want to relive it or not. And I think that's so powerful, because actually that gives me strength to think that, you know, I don't need to actually live in my past. I don't actually need to, you know, to go through that every single day. And I know that victims of PTSD or CPTSD, I know that some of you may be experiencing this at the moment, but know that there is an end to that. You're not going to be experiencing that all the time. There's certain things that you can put in place to help you move forward from this, to help you make sense of it. Ultimately, it is about making sense of a situation, of a given situation, you know, and it's about moving forward with certain tools. Get yourselves out into nature. Right, make routines so that your anxiety isn't so high. And this is more of an experiential kind of learning, more of an experiential thing that you have to go through, because it's okay. There's part of it that's okay about talking about it, you know, in therapy. But then there's also another part of it that you need to heal the physical part of you, but also the mental part of you. And the two kind of like go hand in hand. So it's about healing you as a whole. Okay? And that's what I really wanted to talk about in this video. You know, narcissists have certain tools that they use against people. But you are stronger because you have the tools to get out of this. You don't, you know, you don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to be part of a label of what has happened to you before. So, you know what, guys, I really hope that this video helps. I really hope that this, you know, this live stream has given you some food for thought. I will be more regular on the live streams. I will be doing them hopefully every week, maybe every second week, something like that. So you can join me. And if you have questions or anything that you want to bring up, know that I will. That's absolutely fine, Shannon. Have fun. I hope it's good for you. Yeah, so just if you have any questions, please join me on the lives. Thank you, Laurie. I'm glad that the videos help. And you know that you can always communicate with me in the comments of the videos, because I do read them. I do read them as well. I know there's been some quite negative ones there as well. But there's also really, thank you, Joan. There's also really lovely people out there who you are so wonderful, and I really love this community. I really do. I need to learn. Do you know what I really want to do? I want to learn how to give out like free monthly memberships so that you guys can see what it's like with the journal club, because that is wonderful. That's a real wonderful tool for you guys as well, just to kind of try it out, see what you think. So I need to figure that out. I need to find out off YouTube how to do that, because I know I've got that function. But anyway, guys, listen, do you know what? Have a wonderful rest of the weekend and go and enjoy yourselves. Go and enjoy the sun. We don't have any in the UK. We had crazy weather earlier this week, but we don't now. And I love the sun. Anyway, enjoy your weekend and have a little think about it. Maybe journal some things that might have come up for you through this video. But guys, I hope to see you in the next video. I will be hopefully back to 3 to 4 videos this week coming up. I've got a great one coming up for you guys. Anyway, take care, have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.